record-breaking rain in Spain. Not just records being broken for rain, but also records for many kinds of chaotic climate events. 17,400 lightning bolts have hit Spain between yesterday and today. This is the 25th. Between Thursday and early Friday, the State Meteorological Agency, AEMET, has accounted for 17,400 lightning strikes in Spain, of which 11,000 were recorded yesterday and 6,400 between midnight on Thursday and 9 in the morning on Friday. Significant data, said Ruben del Campo, spokesperson for AEMET, because the storms usually develop in the afternoon, not at dawn. In addition, of the total numbers of lightning strikes in the morning, 200 hit Madrid within a 20-kilometer radius, taking the Puerta del Sol as a central point. A considerable amount because the storms are not usually so strong because of the early morning, such as the one felt last night in the downtown area, Cerve Media told the spokesperson of AEMET. In addition, yesterday the Observatory of Ciudad Real recorded the rainiest day of the year since 1971. The rain record in that observatory in the fifth month of the year held it since May 6, 1971, with 34.6 liters per square meter, while yesterday 39.4 was recorded, a record that had lasted almost half a century and was smashed yesterday, according to data provided by the AEMET. This is just last weekend. The Emergency Services 112 of the Community of Madrid has attended to a total of 71 files related to the storm between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., 40 of them in Madrid and 31 in the rest of the region, mostly related to damaged building facades and fallen tree branches. The State Meteorological Agency has moved 112 112 community emergencies of Madrid that extend to the warning of storms and rains until midnight this Saturday throughout the region, with the possibility of strong gusts of wind. A spokesman for the emergency number 112 of the Community of Madrid has advised drivers to take special care with the pools of water on the roads and with the possible flooding of basements and garages. Before the strong gusts of wind, it has been urged to pay attention to awnings, removing elements from terraces and balconies that may fall to the public road, and travel with caution through wooded areas. According to the forecast of the AEMET, such storms are expected with a probability of between 40 and 70%, which locally, and they did occur, which locally will be intense, and there could be hail, and the rain is expected to accumulate 15 liters per square meter. The reservoirs of Madrid ended up this April above average, with their largest water contribution since 1966. They started at May at 86.8% of their capacity, a figure that exceeds the average of the last 20 years by 7 points. Now, normally, British, Scandinavians love to come to Spain for this great stable weather, but now things are becoming reversed. Break out the sunscreen. Ireland is going to be hotter than Spain today. Okay, this is more recently. Very, very recently. Scotland to be hotter than parts of Spain. Okay, so even Norwegians are now wondering what they're doing in Spain. It's hard to tell how long this has been going on, but the past 2 winters have been especially harsh. Last January, areas of southern Valencia and northern Alicante have received up to 10 inches of snow in 24 hours. It's the highest in 35 years. Beaches at numerous coastal resorts have been wiped out by freak snowstorms and roads cut off. Temperatures have dropped across the mainland, reaching minus 10 degrees in mountain areas. The mercury in Mallorca dropped to 2 below, while beaches, pools, and promenades on the Costa Blanca were covered by snow. On the mainland in Benidorm, temperatures dropped below zero despite the average for January of a balmy 17 Celsius, 62 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it snows in the Mediterranean now. 3 months later, 6 months of rain in 24 hours. The same place, same area, Alicante. Spain hit by worst flooding in 20 years. It is currently unknown what the effect rain has had on the region's agriculture business. However, just an hour away in Murcia, where most Spanish lettuce grows for export, freak weather early this year ruined crops. The area suffered the worst floods in 2 decades, followed by its first snowstorm in over 30 years in December and January. Okay, let's bring it up more recently. Alicante flooding, they're calling this the deluge of the century. Record downpour, floods ground floor premises and shuts down schools. No victims reported. So, last year, yes, last year, something similar happening now. Monday, 2 Mondays ago, storms flood towns in Spain with thousands of liters of rain in just 2 hours. This is in Valdepeñas, not far from Ciudad Real, which we mentioned earlier. More recently, Murcia, 2 days ago, much of Murcia again on storm alert. This is the Mediterranean still. And they love playing with their wordplay, don't they, at weather.com. Spanish downpours dash hopes for fun in the sun. It's just now. Holiday makers heading to the Spanish sun will be greeted by a cocktail of seasonal, unseasonal cold, cloud, and torrential downpours, with temperatures plunging 8 Celsius, 8 degrees below normal for the time of year, well below the UK. Those hoping for fun in the sun next week will find many places being soaked by 5 times the normal amount of rain for the period. Latest satellite and radar forecasts have revealed swaths of clouds settling over Spain and Portugal with a stubborn area of low pressure. Yes, does this look normal? Hot in northern France, cold in Spain and Portugal. Tell me if this looks normal. Okay. Not anything about this is normal. Scorching in Scandinavia, but rain set for Spain. Yes, they're loving these rhymes. But look at these pictures. How does this look normal? Hot in Sweden, Germany, France, northern Italy. More. Heavy rain in Spain will be a real holiday pain. They're loving this, aren't they? But look at this picture. Look at that. Tell me that's normal. Now, this article, this is rich. Why is it colder in Madrid than Oslo? The Atlantic storms normally circulate from west to east across the Atlantic. At this time of year, the circulation occurs at latitudes much higher than in Spain, says Delia Gutierrez, spokesperson for the State Meteorological Agency. These storms usually generate unstable temperatures and frequent storms in the countries of Central and Northern Europe, explains the meteorologist. What makes the climate in the peninsula warmer at this time of year compared to Northern Europe is the effect of the Azores anticyclone, explains Gutierrez. In the countries of Southern Europe at this time of the year, there should be a situation of more stability, high temperatures, and plenty of sunshine, says meteorologist Jose Miguel Viñas. But this year, the weather is behaving in an unusual way. The normal thing would be that, from time to time, those of the Atlantic storms come down, separating from the circulation that moves towards the south, according to Gutierrez. The particular thing is now it's happening in a very continuous way, and the storms are following one after the other. The anticyclone is staying in the Atlantic and does not make entry into the continent, so that storms that circulate at high latitudes fall to our latitude, bringing a cooler air from the northwest, explains the IMET spokeswoman. The situation will not change in the coming days, so there's no end in sight. This week and next, the temperature anomaly is the trend. Clearly, the forecast is of lower temperature values than normal throughout the country, even in the Canary Islands, says Gutierrez. Sometimes we have a lot of uncertainty and it is not clear what is going to happen, but in this case it is striking how loud the alarm is sounding, adds the AMET spokeswoman. A blockade of the high pressure in the center and north of Europe causes that the storms associated to the storms circulating in the south arriving at the peninsula. The phenomenon will also affect the values of rainfall, although probably not as strongly as in the case of temperatures. So both, but even more with the temperatures. Venus believes that what is happening this year is an exception to the rule, but in her opinion, this does not mean that every year we'll have a situation like that. The meteorologist calls to attention that already in the final part of the winter, the increase in rainfall allowed for a break of quite a long period of drought, also abnormal. In his opinion, the storms of this spring have a positive effect because they cause the reservoirs in many areas to have water even above the average. Vegetation is very lush. The forests are extremely green right now. And Spain has surpassed Italy and France in the past couple years in wine production, as now being the largest producer of wine in the world. He assures that the violence of these storms can cause damage and even victims. Gutierrez reminds us that the Valencia community and in Murcia, the precipitation continues to be below normal figures. So, that's not very Mediterranean. Like, that's in Arizona, continental climate, where you have flash floods and then mostly drought. What is this anyway? Is this Pac-Man eating the Balearic Islands, or is it Godzilla eating the whole Mediterranean? And I'm going to predict abnormally high temperatures this summer.